And I pull them into shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just come on, lads. Come on, lads.
Dangerfield, Dangerfield.
Hello there, just a quick one. So what was it, a year, 2 years, something like that? I made a video about 2 years ago, let's say, about Ricky Gervais's last performance at the Golden Globes, hosting the Golden Globes. And everyone said, oh, he ripped him a new one, you know, he called him out for this, he called him out for that. And I made a video saying, well, actually, he didn't. He done exactly what he was paid to do, which was to advertise the Golden Globes, which he done exquisitely. Because as far as I could see, the whole world was talking about it because of what he said. And I got such backlash, you know, people who've followed my channel for years, a decade nearly, were like, oh no, you've got this one wrong, Dangerfield, as they're free to do, you know, obviously. But I was kind of shocked, so I made another video called Key Bono, Who Benefits? Because in the Ricky Gervais Golden Globes example, he was laughing about what he was calling him out for, all these dreadful things we know the likes of Hollywood get up to. They were laughing about it, everyone was laughing about it, and then it's just, it becomes those instances, those examples become pointless. They're put back under the carpet. It wasn't because I didn't like Ricky Gervais as a comedian. I don't find him particularly funny, but that wasn't my point. And I got accused of that, which was a bit weird. However, he's just put this new thing up on Netflix. It's like a special. And he's getting some backlash from the woke orthodoxy. Now, I'm stealing this clip from GB News, as you can see on the screen there. It's a weird place to pause it, isn't it? Looks like he's just asked her to go out with him. She said no, and his expression is a face of a man who's been said no to too many times. But anyway, let's have a look at the jokes, and we'll look at the difference between what Gervais is saying here and the role he played in the Golden Globes example.
Well, I am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. Yeah, sue me now. Sometimes I go down to Dover for the day, right? And I look out, right? And look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go over here, like, right?
It's interesting that the crowd are already laughing. That they laughed when he said, I go down to Dover, after he's mentioned immigrants, because they all know what he's talking about. And this is what happens when the Overton window shifts. You know, loads of channels years ago were talking about this stuff. Some of us were in the Sunday Times being accused of grooming teenage Nazis and the like for saying similar things. But this is mainstream now, as it should be. As difficult, challenging, awkward conversations should be.
And I pull them into shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just come on, lads. Come on, lads.
Punchline with applause. It's the peak of a special. It's great when you get that. So that is fundamentally different, because the figure of ridicule here is the unspoken reality that it would appear the majority of certainly illegal immigrants would appear to be fighting age males. And this is Ricky Gervais. You know, he's Mr. Mainstream. He can get on any telly programme. Telly. But there's more. There's actually more.
If I go down there one day...
Hang on, let's just take that back a bit, because to hear cheers about that... Cheers, whoops and whistles. Now, you could say to me, well, what's different about this and then the Golden Globes? Everyone's laughing. But the difference is, he's not promoting his own show with his own show. That doesn't make sense. That's like having an advert for an advert, the same advert. Doesn't make sense. They're whooping, whistling, cheering and clapping because he's moving the Overton window. They're breathing. They're like, as a society, as a civilization, we may not be completely lost yet, because Mr. Mainstream is actually talking about things that we get called racist and Nazi and all that about. That's why they're celebrating there. That's the difference between that and the Golden Globes situation, where there was none of that. Of course there was none of that. They were just laughing because it helped, sweep it under the carpet.
Go down there one day and there's no boat. I am absolutely gutted. I just sort of wander into town and I stand by the traffic lights and I wait for a big lorry to pull up, right? And I look underneath and there's a lad sort of clutching like that. And I go, where you headed? And he goes, Gary Lineker's house. I go, it's just down there.
And there you go, it goes back to GB News now. But they know why that's funny. And that's what a good joke is, isn't it? You say something without saying it. You kind of connect to the communal consciousness that is unspoken, because people are scared of talking about these things. That's what that's what the role, the social function of the comedian is. That's the court jester. And people are relieved and they're breathing. And this is mainstream. And regardless of what the subject matter is, the fact that Mr. Mainstream is being accepted, I mean, there's a few people complaining, but fuck them. This is now, and this should be mainstream, because this is a massive civilizational rupture occurring concerning Western Europe. You can't brush that under the carpet. And it's out. And challenging, difficult conversations usually tend to be the ones that we need to have the most.
That's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Sweet, sweet, mama, sweet, sweet,